Hey guys, welcome to Game Bad today, and today we're going to review the Exodus trailer, which was released today. First off, as this is kicking off, we're going to just walk through this and I'll narrate some of what's going on, but we did get the information that, not to spoil it, you're going to find out in this video, new specialist available is Irish from Battlefield 4, so he will be available here in Battlefield 2042, making a return by, I believe you also get specialist outfits for him, or skins, by doing the pre-order. So Irish making a return. He looks awesome. He sounds awesome. And the good thing is he didn't say Wrecker at all during this Exodus short film. So that's amazing. Big win there for the community. We didn't have to hear Wrecker, but we did see Pekowski as well. Clayton Pekowski making a return. So two Battlefield 4 characters making a return here, which is pretty cool. So we open up here, and we have an unknown soldier kind of coming into what the unknown land is here. We end up knowing that this here in a little bit, the reveal, who this ends up being. But here we have a shot of the dinosaur, probably potentially the same dinosaur from Battlefield 3. It's the same looking T-Rex and everything from that Battlefield 3 tank mission. I believe it was called Armor Kill, but it looked the exact same there. We have a shot here in London. Countries have crumbled. Hope hasn't. Donate now. So this takes place in London, and according to the Journey of the Notepad short film, it says that London is 3 feet underwater, the failed capital of a failed state. Here we go, and we have this soldier talking to Oz on the comms, saying that the informant is there, and the informant on the jet ski, he's got to make a handoff to our soldier here, our protagonist, and he gets shot in the head. So Oz is basically telling our protagonist here, our main specialist, that we need to recover what's in that case. And this ties in with the Journey of the Notepads really well, that short story that's going on the Battlefield website, which again I'll link down below. Also have a bunch of videos there, but at this point you have a lot of back and forth. I'll link this down below too so you can watch it without my narration, but you have a lot of back and forth between Irish and Oz, who is saying, basically Irish is saying that I typically don't risk my life without knowing what I'm risking it for, and then Oz basically saying I usually don't explain myself. And here we go. Good shots of the next generation squad weapon being the SIG MCX Spear, firing that 6.8 by 51 millimeter, being held by our main protagonist here. And again, that thing's it looks like it's gonna be probably the main or starting assault rifle in the game. And here we go. Our protagonist walks up and he says Pekowski, and then we get the reveal that it is Irish from Battlefield 4, and he looks awesome. Pekowski looks really cool too. Still a Marine, Pekowski is. So obviously Irish now working for the Notepads. We get into the world of the Exodus 2042. And here we have, again, here's Irish returning to the Exodus ship, which is one of the main Notepads battleships, actually. So it's interesting. Turns out Irish is the captain of that ship, and in Part 7, they alluded to an experienced ex-Marine being the captain, and that turns out to be Irish here, which is Kimball Irish Graves, which is awesome. So we see a little bit more here of the Exodus ship, and you can see, you'll recognize that part of the boat for the Hazard Zone concept art. So at this part, Pekowski basically going back and forth with Irish, saying that he was betraying his country, and Irish basically letting him know that he's fighting for all the people, the souls on this ship, being the 200 Notepads they have on board, including now Pekowski. So this is really cool because it ties into the narrative of the Journey of the Notepads. And at this point, we have Rao, who's also on board. This is another new specialist that we know of through the Journey of the Notepad story, communicating with Irish over the radio, saying he's got to go up here and look at this. Oz's airships are only a few minutes out. So Irish is about to make his way to the deck. We get a shot, and he now has a kid. And you can see he gives that dinosaur toy that he found in London to his child. So obviously, I think Battlefield 4 took place in 2024. So this being just about 20 years later, we have 18-year gap here, and here we have Irish interacting with Rao, and Rao has already opened. Rao has, I believe Rao is the hacker specialist. I could be wrong there. I don't remember correctly, but he's letting you know that we have an American secret weapon, which is housed in the satellite, which is going to be crashing on what I believe is the Hourglass map in Qatar. So that's what he's alluding to, that if Russia gets their hands on it, it's going to be bad news. So America wanted this information so they can get there and recover their down satellite, and it was just running out of power. And at that point, we did get a shot of the satellite name too, the one in question. That being, I don't recall specifically, I think it was Black Sheep or something along those lines was the name of the satellite. But again, it looks to be crashing at that Hourglass map. And here we have Oz's troops inbound in those airships. And Irish is going to let them know that we need to go into the storm. So at this point, they're going into a Category 5 hurricane. And we're going to get some really good battle scenes here. So Irish basically saying that the Category 5 hurricane is essentially our support, our backup. It's going to give us home field advantage. And here, because Oz now wants that briefcase, we know what the reasoning is. And Bukowski let him know that if you give that to Oz, that terrorist is going to start World War III. And that's really his exact intention. Is America's after this satellite, and Russia is going to try and get there as well. And basically, if Oz has this, he's going to send that to the Russians, and he wants the Russians and the Americans to fight. So similar, if you guys ever read or watched Tom Clancy's Sum of All Fears books and movies, you'll get an idea. Is basically let the last two remaining superpowers fight each other and then take over what's left for no-pat freedom. So this is where we're going to get a conflict in leadership, is Irish and Oz. Oz wants to take the no-pats to thrive after the Russians and Americans burn the world to the ground, and Irish understands that if that happens, the no-pats will burn with them. So he wants to avoid war at all costs, which is why now he's turning against Oz and not giving him that briefcase, now that he knows it's the coordinates to what that satellite, or where that satellite is going to crash. So really good combat scenes here. Again, the MCX Spear front and center here is the main weapon. And now we have this airship, which we're assuming Oz is in, but it turns out he's actually not. But one remaining airship here in this Category 5 hurricane. And now we have some back and forth between Oz and Irish. So at this point, we see a soldier with Irish's son. And then if you read Part 8 of the Journey of the No-Pats, it gives this whole scenario from Khyven Bashir's perspective, where this soldier came down into underneath the deck where all the other No-Pats were housed, and purposely took Irish's child and brought him up here. So at this point, Irish is basically saying Oz is saying to turn over the briefcase for the information of the coordinates, otherwise he'll kill his son. And he's letting him know that Irish is saying that if you start this war, too many no-pats will die. And again, Oz's perspective is that the world needs to burn for someone being a no-pats to rise from the ashes. And here we have Bukowski saves Irish's child's life. Obviously, these guys, Tombstone Squadron from Battlefield 4. So Bukowski's still a Marine. Now, if you read the Journey of the No-Pats, Khyven Bashir actually is the one that freed Bukowski. If you read that story, after Irish's child was taken, Khyven followed the soldier who had taken Irish's child and heard Bukowski yelling, saying he wanted to help. And there you have Bukowski staying true to his old officer, being Irish, and saving his child's life, and then he ends up being killed. So here we have a shot of Bukowski's dead body with his dog tag. Now, there's a 42 on his dog tag. I'm not sure what that is a reference to for his dog tag. It says 42. I don't know what that's a reference to. Maybe somebody in the comments can let me know. And then we have a shot of that soldier's dead body. So the message was sent out to Oz, who I'm assuming is obviously going to forward the information for the satellite coordinates to the Russians. So now the Russians and Americans are going to fight in Qatar, and the no-pats now are in the middle of it. So then Irish is basically going to call out to all the no-pats to meet there and get ready to fight. So this is probably going to be a prelude to what Hazard Zone is, as well as why we're going to have no-pats fighting no-pats, because there's essentially an internal civil war within the no-pat faction. You have those that are now loyal to Oz and those that are loyal to Irish. So that's kind of where we're going here, and obviously the U.S. and Russia are also going to be fighting each other now, so you're essentially going to have the three superpowers being the Americans and the Russians meeting at Qatar, and they're going to fight. And now obviously the no-pats being Oz is going to be there, and now Irish's group faction or group of no-pats is going to also be there. So it should be really cool. I'm really excited to see what this sets up for the narrative of this live service story going forward. Again, we had a lot of really cool information, seeing the return of Irish and Bukowski. It just begs the question, what other past soldiers or characters are we going to see from the previous games? Obviously, I think anything from Battlefield 3 is fair game. Battlefield 3 took place, I want to say it was 2015, 2018. It took place a few years in the future. from the time, so it was around 2015 and 2018. Somebody can let me know down in the comments. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. And then Battlefield 4 in 2024, and now Battlefield 2042. So any character could come back. We could see Blackburn. Hopefully, I'm really hoping we see Dima. Dima, my favorite character in all of the Battlefield franchise history, should be coming back, hopefully. Maybe we'll see Wrecker. Could be a bunch of other characters making a return. Even though Dima died in Battlefield 4, they didn't really put too much emphasis on it, that he died of the radiation poisoning. We saw him die, but maybe we'll just assume that isn't canon and forget that actually happened. But it would be really cool to see Dima, or at least maybe like his brother or something, who had outside influence into the whole events of Battlefield 3 as well in the shadows. Something like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 type storyline where we realize that some of the main characters were kind of there the whole entire time in the background. So something like that would be really cool. Again, you can bring back any of these characters as specialists. Who knows where this is going to go? I think the game has unlimited possibilities at this point, especially with Hazard Zone. It seems like with Hazard Zone, what's going to be happening is you're going to be going into probably London or whatever map it's going to be and recovering information on where the satellites are going to be downed, and maybe you'll have to go and recover the information out of the downed satellites as they crash and get back to the Exodus or home base. That seems to be probably what Hazard Zone will be, similar to Dark Zone for the Division is what I'm assuming. So that should be really, really interesting. I think this whole Journey of the Notepads and the Exodus story really set up a great storytelling narrative to set us up for Battlefield 2042. We know why we're fighting. Again, it did everything the single player would have, but in a shorter amount of time, and it didn't take up as much development resources to do it. So this is a really good thing. Again, you can continue this story through the live service. I'm really excited to see what happens with this. Let me know down below what you guys think, what characters you want to see return, everything that you may have noticed about the Exodus film that I potentially had missed. But again, really good to see Irish back. And again, like I said, he didn't say Wrecker at all. He looks really, really cool. I wasn't a fan of him at all in Battlefield 4, mainly because he said Wrecker 100 million times. But he not only does he look awesome, especially the pre-order bundle for him looks cool, but the base specialist skin, very tactical. He looks like the 4-sec faction that we saw yesterday in Part 7 for the Egypt map. I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head, but that map for the Egypt map, we learned that there is the special security for that company there on Breakaway, or no, I'm sorry, Renewal. The 4-sec security quelled the uprising from some of the notepads, or the former notepads there who work the farm and the solar system. So pretty interesting. We have a really good tactical looking operators or specialists here, and Iris looks awesome. I'm really excited to see what we get. Let me know down below what you guys think, what you want to see coming to Battlefield 2042. Till next time, Buffner Gaming out.